Next year, Georgia's offense is going to look completely different. I mean, the players on the team.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. I'm here with you today, brought to you by FanDuel, FanDuel.com. More on them in a moment. If you're an everydayer, if you're with us every single time we post, we appreciate you guys. LockedOnBulldogs.supercast.com. Get in on the action right now over there. Become an everydayer, which you get ad-free episodes, posts, text communication, inside scoop, exclusives that are only for everydayers. Today, we are talking about three things. One, this offense next year will look totally different than this year's group, and I'm going to tell you why. The consistency on the offensive line as well as in the run game is going to allow us to take on a far different mold than this last year's team. Second thing I'm going to talk to you about is NIL, transfer portal, eligibility, the wild, wild west, the way too far look ahead to 2026, and what teams are compiling right now is interesting to me. And we're going to look at the landscape of the SEC. And then lastly, this basketball team is going to do something, is going to impress you with an impressive win. We'll talk about that, as well as some other news and notes in the loyal third segment listeners that only they get. And I'm not going to tease it right now because I don't want you to get it right now. But let's start with this offense that is going to be new look for UGA. Daniel and I talked about the incredible get that we have on the offensive line coming back. Juan Gaston, Drew Bobo, Dontrell Glover. Those three in and of themselves. I need to mention Ernest Green because as of right now, if you were to poll Daniel and I, it's a very easy poll. It's 2 votes. We would say that Juan Gaston likely slides out left tackle. Ernest Green keeps doing his thing at the right tackle. Talked about Jackson, but he has something to say. Marcus Harrison has something to say on the left tackle position as well. Tolliver, Calhoun, Merriweather, Unini. These are names that you're going to want to know. There's going to be a stiff competition, as well as Ogboku on the offensive line, because we saw freshmen come in and dominate early. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what stars you have. You're going to get a look in Georgia's offense. Those guys coming back, our offensive line is far better, far greater ahead than it was last year. Last year coming into it, we had Monroe Freeling. We had just lost the entire interior of our offensive line, and we had Ernest Green, and even those were giant question marks to us. This year coming back, the bookends seem to be, again, if our guess is Juan Gaston slides out, but even if not, the three, you're telling me, Dontrell Glover, Drew Bobo, and Juan Gaston side by side, big-bodied, huge technicians, road graders, aren't going to want to say something and do something. That offensive line inside zone looks fine by me. Gunnar Stockton clearly comes back. Nate Frazier, Chauncey Bones, Dwight Phillips, as well as Bo and a whole host of other guys in the backfield means that position group, offensive line, quarterback, running back, is set, and the depth chart is really going to break down at that. We usually will swing a sixth guy on the offensive line, so always and forever, Kirby Smart will have that sixth position be very, very crucial. If you remember 2 years ago, in the team that lost to Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl, not the team that lost to Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl. But Kirby said before the season, I don't know who we have at offensive line. Maybe we have 5, maybe we have 4 guys. This year, he didn't say that. He gives you what you need to know. This year, we saw an improved run game, I think, coming into camp as well as fall camp. We're going to be just fine. That continuity, that consistency in the interior of the offensive line, the consistency in the 4 stars, the 5 stars, the road graders, the productivity we have coming back, the snap counts. I didn't even mention Lawson Lucky coming back, Elias Williams, Jaden Rydell, and the group of guys behind him. Ethan Barber, who likely will start again at tight end. The run game's just fine. Now, when we weren't doing well, when the offense was sluggish, it was because we couldn't run the ball, couldn't set up pass, and we couldn't stretch the field that much. We tried and tried and tried as we might. And this year's Georgia team had to go ahead and manufacture yards when we needed them the most again. It felt like a slog. It felt like a pain. It felt like a headache because we did, in fact, have one of the most electric wide receivers we've ever had in Branch. And we love him, and he's so glad that he's here and so glad that he's part of what we're doing. It was part of what we're doing. This year's team, the change and the difference is going to be the consistency in the run game, the consistency at quarterback. I think the last time that we had somebody coming back like a Gunnar Stockton who had the reps that he had, the playoff run that he had, the important pieces that he has at offensive line. We haven't had that in a hot minute. He comes back with running attack, and now we add a whole brand new list of wide receivers. Last year, we went wide receivers, and we went Noah Thomas. We went Colby Young, who was back after the complete disaster that was on everybody who was involved, not named Colby Young, and Zachariah Branch. This year, we have 3 brand new receivers. We had 3 receivers back then, and Colby Young being lost for a good majority of the season really hurt us in the stretch game. Zachariah Branch did stretch some of the midfield, but he was also very good, clearly very good in the short run after catch game. We didn't have that let's go get a ball down the field guy. We had to rely on Oscar Delp, Lawson Lucky some of the times. We saw a few guys try to get the reps and try to get some standing in that, and that's where I want to start. I want to start with those guys that we saw given a little bit of love. Talon Taylor, CJ Wiley, and London Humphreys. These 3 guys, likely. And then add on top of that Canyon, who's coming over in the transfer portal from Georgia Tech. I think this offense for Georgia is going to still predicate itself on the run with that established offensive line and running back with Gunnar Stockton. But I think the added element that changes everything, and the depth chart we'll talk about. We'll get through the depth chart and we'll break down who these people are and why they're doing it. I'm giving you a big picture now because Talon Taylor, London Humphreys, Canyon, CJ Wiley, Roldan, Zakovi White, Thomas Blackshear, these are young guys. Really, really young guys. These are unproven guys. London Humphreys has the most snaps of that entire group. Everybody else I just listed, Talon Taylor, Blackshear, CJ Wiley, Roldan, Zakovi White, either a red shirt freshman or a freshman this last year. London Humphreys is the only one that has experience. Now pair that with Canyon. This team is going to take shots downfield. Colby Young was that for us. CJ Wiley, as well as Talon Taylor, were supposed to be that for us. We saw Talon Taylor have promise of that, drop a couple balls, then get injured. Zakovi White, I think, takes on a little bit more of the branch role, screen game role, if you will, slot. But this wide receiver group, with Lawson Lucky being back, will stretch the field. It will be complex down the field, not take shots down the field. It will be read and react down the field because Gunnar Stockton will have another year in the program, another time behind the offensive line, another time where he gets to go ahead and read and let loose. He was still a little stiff at times. I saw it. You saw it. We all saw it. But this offense next year, make no mistake about it. Early look at the depth chart. Early look at the offense. Early look at not just how Mike Bobo crafts his play calls to the players that we have. Now he gets to craft it with an insanely good offensive line, insanely one of the best rushing attacks in the entire SEC, entire nation back. Unproven wide receivers, I get you, but we had unproven wide receivers last year. Brand new stash after 3 years ago, a decrepit, can't catch anything wide receiver core. There's upside and an expectation that the guys coming in, we'll break them down specifically who they are, but you know a lot of them. Talon Taylor, CJ Wiley, Zakovi White. These are different breeds of wide receiver. Canyon is a different breed of wide receiver than we had last year. The closest we got, Colby Young, closest we got. He was a dang good dog. We hope him the best. We're going to come back after this. I'm going to talk to you about the landscape of the SEC and how crazy it is that people are ready to crown people ludicrous statements. And where does Georgia play in all this? How does this play out for Georgia? Where does college go? And how does Kirby Smart react to what's happening? But first, these. And these are, in fact, FanDuel. College football playoff is here. FanDuel is giving all customers even more ways to get in the action every single day for college football. Right now, college football is, in fact, glorious. Just taste it. It's months away, but taste it. Maybe you're looking at getting in the stag for college basketball, which we're going to talk about. Maybe you want to get on that action. FanDuel gives a profit boost waiting inside the app. Here's what I love about it. You get to ride with a favorite player when you think the team is in control of the matchup. Boom, it flips, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, there's Sumpto Surreal blocking you out of existence. Apply the profit boost, even bigger winnings, and when you win, FanDuel pays out instantly, which is perfect for playoff basketball. FanDuel is the best place to get in the action all season long. Visit FanDuel.com to get your college football and college basketball profit boost every game. All right, Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for being with us, everydayers. You guys are the best, those who listen. Part of the #1 sports broadcasting podcast in the entire world. There's no one else that has as much as Locked On. Glad to have you guys here. We're talking about the changing landscape of the SEC and college football and college sports and the absolute Wild West that's happening and atrocities, and I do mean atrocities, that are happening currently. And there's 3 ways you can look at what's happening in the landscape, and there's 2 of them that are stupid. There's one that I would like to suggest to you should take. Here's how I want to frame this. I want to frame this with all of a sudden college basketball players are told you can go to pro, you can go you can get on out of college. Don't go, get on out of here. Go try to pursue your professional dreams and aspirations. And then, oh wait, I suck. I want to come back to Alabama. Let me in. And they say, sure, come on in. Things like that are happening. Things like a $50 million roster in LSU, wondering how is this possible with only 21 million allocated NIL? It's because there's deals that are for other things other than NIL, and there's market share, and there's crap that happens outside of that. And there's eligibility. There's 30-year-olds playing for Signetti at Indiana. There's guys getting 7th year, 8th year eligibility. People being graduated and on their masters and go. It's crazy and it's insane. Now, here's why I say it's crazy and insane. And it's not what college athletics is supposed to bring to the table. And it's not actually good for the sport. Here's why it's not good for the sport. And I'll tell you, it's it's beyond simple. Because the further you get along with these sorts of things, the further you allow the line between pro and amateur, the line between what's a student athlete and what's not a student athlete, the more you blur that, the more ambiguous you get and opaque it becomes. Do you know who's really good at carving out gray areas and exploiting them? Rich, powerful people who want to become more rich and powerful. They're the best at it. And might I add, at the cost of you and I enjoying something that we like. The people running college football, I don't care about college football. Right? The people in charge of making decisions for what's best for college football want to make decisions what's best for them and not college football. It's clear as day, because if that was the case, you would not be bending over backwards to make exceptions and lawyer up and court cases and file it for dreams of Diego Pavia, Trinidad Chambliss. No. What's best is for them to go on and get paid in the NFL by an organization whose job it is to raise funds, not an organization whose job it is. And it is the explicit intended purposes. And that's why we're going to get to 3 views you can have on this. This falls into view 1. I'm not suggesting that these are kids and that this wasn't happening before and that they're not pursuing their dreams. That's not what I'm suggesting. Is that it's tied to an entity. You can go outside of Georgia and have an amateur football, but you won't have the tradition. You won't have the campus. You won't have the facilities. You won't have the infrastructure. This is what everybody thinks. Oh, I'm going to just do it on my own. You don't have the infrastructure. You don't have the backing. You don't have the tradition. You don't have any of that. What makes college football great is the pageantry, the tradition, the structure, the connection, the community. That's what makes it great. What's happening because of NIL that is unregulated? I'm for NIL that is regulated. What I am not for is giving 7th, 8th year waivers to kids for whatever reason they have, just because people deciding the case are in fact alum of the institution and are boosters and are givers to it. And oh yeah, they want to line their own pockets and do good for them. Big Ten, Ole Miss. What should be the case is you should give kids 5 years, no matter what, to play whatever amount they want in 5 years' time. And if you need a medical, if you need a family leave, if you need whatever you do, take it in 5 years, but you don't have more than that. Period. Case closed, move on, get done with it. That's it. Point two, NIL should be regulated, should be counted, should be brought under light of scrutiny, and should not be Wild West because, again, these are 18, 19, 20. Go look at how many NFL first rounders. The reason why the NFL changed. This is my perfect case example of why this needs to change and how it will change. The NFL had all this happening with the rookies. Rookie salary caps were getting out of control, and they had to have a don't go bankrupt course, a financial literacy course for players that are coming into this money. We don't have that in college. It's almost like you should have a personal finance class that you could take for a semester on it, though. That'd be wild. They don't have that. They're going to get in trouble. It wrecked people that were 2.5 years into a career, built up their community, built up everything, and then had it all yanked out from under them and filed bankruptcy. Had to have foreclosures take place. The amount that took place on that is wild. We hear success stories. We don't hear the troubling stories. That's going to trickle down because people who have longstanding money, people in power, position of authority, don't want to give it up, and they will exploit those and dangle the carrot of everything else for you to get so. Here are the 3 views that you cannot take as it turns to LSU thinking they have the best roster, they're going to compete. You have a horrible coach who exploits people. Texas, who says we have a huge roster. You got rid of long-standing tradition of Livingston and of Wisner and of a number of other guys to bring in hired mercenaries. That's not what Cignetti did. That's not what actually, if you look at it, that's not what Miami did as well. Those kids wanted to play at Miami. Tony, one of the best players, Carson Beck, that didn't work out for you. Mendoza wasn't a hired hand. If you go back and listen to the interview by Mendoza afterwards, he said, we want guys who are at Indiana who get it, who aren't looking for a paycheck, aren't looking for more yards, aren't looking for more reps, aren't looking for more touchdowns, aren't looking for more receptions. We want guys who get it, who buy in. And once you do, then you're part of it and you can be part of it. It sounds eerily similar to, I don't know, Kirby Smart. That's what builds tradition and legacy. It's not Lane Kiffin's. It's not A&M. It's not Florida. It's not DeBoer. I don't hear them saying any of that. None of that. So here are the 3 views. View 1, NIL was always like this. It's now out in front of everybody, so it's fine. No, it was never like this. There were backdoor deals. It was never like this. The amount of freewheeling and dealing, the exploitation of people on promised things for finances of a governor to get involved just to line his own pockets is disgusting. And the more that you have gray, the more that people abuse it, period. 2, don't be the person that says, all right, what happened to the sport I love? I don't like it anymore. Nope. Guess what? These players, conversely, were exploited by the universities who were taking and pocketing all that, and they weren't getting anything when they were the ones performing on the field. Of course, and don't give me, they were giving a root and board and education. Don't give me that. Of course they were. Yes, they were. Good. It was not comparable at all to the amount that people were getting their own name, image, and likeness glorified on campuses. There's a middle way. There's a third way that says we need to regulate it to protect it from becoming like the MLB, which is now the 4th most popular sport in America behind soccer. Oh no, but the Dodgers haven't ruined it. Yes, they have. Guys, don't be 1 and 2, be 3 that says we need regulation so that we can continue doing this. You have to have structure. You have to have backing. 2, you have to have compensation for what you bring in. There is a way. Regulation is coming. It's getting out of control. And the more abuses happen, the more people start sweating it, the worse it gets. It has to change, and it will change because LSU and Texas are going all in, and they can't keep rolling time after time without a championship. Lane Kiffin is not going to produce it for you. Steve Sarkisian is not going to produce it for you. They're going to go to the NFL. They're going to go elsewhere, and you're going to be left holding the bag. And when that happens, people aren't going to like it. Georgia, conversely, is positioned fine. Perfect Cignetti-like, Kirby-like way of handling it. We're going to come back after this with a few more tips and tidbits of the offseason. But first, these. Hey, welcome back. Third segment. Loyal third segment listeners, we love you guys. LockedOnBulldogs.com or .supercast.com, LockedOnBulldogs.supercast.com. Get over there, become an everydayer, get the posts every single day, the newsletters, the ad-free episodes, texting with Daniel and I, insider information, exclusive video content, exclusive audio content. Get over there right now. Take care of that. Hey, I want to end here. And this is, if y'all don't realize how big of a deal this is a giant, huge, massive deal. And if you don't think it is, let me tell you, it is most certainly. The Georgia basketball team had one of the biggest wins all year long happened just this last week. Yes, let me walk you through some of the other things that very sad for you and I to have to bemoan this. The win against Auburn at home was great. Loved that. The loss at Florida on the road, everybody says, fire him, get rid of him. He's done. We go to South Carolina, bounce back after losing to Florida, win that game. Take an L again. Horrible, horrible game against Ole Miss. Can't lose that one, yet we did. We bounce back, win against Arkansas at home, and then a true test. And I mean a true test, because if you want to look at what Missouri's been able to do this year, Missouri is 3-3 in conference play, 13-6 overall. They have wins on the record. We're not going to go early season because I understand it's just like, what are we doing? They lost to Notre Dame by 5. Kansas, they take an L2 at home, 20 points. That was a bad one. Illinois, they take a drubbing to one of the best teams in all of America, but then they beat Florida at home, albeit, but they beat Florida. Florida, who, by the way, you want to, let's just take the standings really quick. Oh, yes, 14-5 overall, 5-1 in conference play in the SEC. Florida's a dang good school with inside presence and a formidable front court that's really, really wild. Kentucky takes the win on the road. They lose to Ole Miss at Ole Miss by 10. They win against Auburn. And then they take the L to Louisiana State, LSU. And Georgia comes in, gets a 2-point win. It was electric. Here's why it was electric and what was so important about the game itself. What was so important about the game is that defense won it for us. We've been winning most of the season. If you want to look at the point totals, we've been kind of up and down and fluctuating back and forth. 95 against Ole Miss, 90 against Arkansas, 75 South Carolina, Florida 77, Auburn 104. And then before that, we were averaging lots of points. So in SEC play, brought back down. We haven't hit that 100 mark since the Auburn game in SEC play. We have a chance against Texas, by the way. I know that is at Texas. Huge, huge game. Then we get Tennessee, Texas A&M. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but what I'm saying is defense won the day for us. Defense and timely offense. Smurf Millender, my gosh, what a gutsy last play. 3-point play, seal the deal, win it for us, but the defense really, really took it. And it wasn't just Santos Surreal doing his thing, although he was doing his thing. Santos Surreal, Daniel and I said, you can't foul out. He did not foul out. He kept that under wraps the entire time. Played very, very good defense. Fast break, both defensively and offensively. We did a dang good job on both sides of the ball, running out in front of the court, getting back on defense. Turnover game was fine. It was a gutsy win. It was a hard-fought win. It was a win we won with defense and timely offense, where normally we were doing it with offense and just hucking it, and we were off Florida. We couldn't stop them to save our lives. Really, really frustrating game. Even against Ole Miss, we couldn't stop them. We scored 95 in the game. Mizzou's got some quality wins. This was a huge win for us. Mizzou is in the top half of the SEC, right in between Auburn, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, 3-3. Those are the teams that I just listed who are 3-3 on the year. Tennessee, 2-3. And this is all in SEC play. Texas, 2-3. We're not going to get to LSU and Oklahoma because it's real bad down there. But Florida, 5-1. Georgia, the third place team in the SEC at 4-2, with Arkansas, ahead of Alabama, right behind A&M and Florida. 16-3 on the season. Big time, huge, gutsy performance. Defense sealed it for us. Smurf Millender had a great play. Blue Kane did just enough. Continue on offense. Wilkinson, I mean, I can go on and how this team played exactly what we wanted. And what we also saw from this game is exactly what Daniel and I have been saying all year long. We don't want to see guys come into have 25 points and then the next closest scorer be somebody with 14. That's not what we want. We want to see games in which the box score reads exactly what this looks like. 12, 11, 8, 14, 18. Smurf, who, by the way, comes off, is the leading scorer with 18. 5 of 8 from the field, from three-point line, 3 of 4, and from the stripe, 5 of 5. I mean, could you just, that's exactly what you want to see from this team. Daniel said before, we gave you a little preview of this, and we said Georgia has to come down with half the rebounds in this game. Rebounding, 44 for Georgia, 39 for Mizzou. Offensive rebounds, 19 for Georgia, 15 for Mizzou. Defensive rebounds, 25 and 24 respectively. 4 blocks, 5 steals that we had. 10 turnovers. We had less turnovers than Missouri did. Had about the same fast break. They had more points in the paint. They had more fouls than us. We played exactly how we needed to play, how exactly that we wanted to play, to show us that this team is for real. Many different ways. We are not a one-trick pony. We're not one-dimensional. We're not two-dimensional. We have multiple scorers. We can score from deep when it's on. Smurf, thank you, 75% from the field. Blue Kane catches it, gets going. Ketchens, rebounding, figures his stuff out inside. Santos Surreal keeps doing it. Wilkinson, I mean, guys, we're making a run, and it's going to be wild, and it's going to be fun. Hold on to it. It's going to be great. I am Clint with Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. We'll be back tomorrow talking about the Bulldogs all offseason long. When news breaks, be part of us, get with us, and as well as head over to Supercast, lockedonbulldogs.supercast.com. Become an everydayer. We know you want to. We'll see you guys then.